Now let's mute this. Okay. Hello? Hello? How's everyone doing? Hopefully this isn't lagging too much. Okay, yeah, that seems like it's stabilized, hopefully. Alright. Hello. Doing pretty good. Yeah, sorry for the delay. There was a spammer who was putting stuff out, and I didn't want it to show up. So I had to figure out how to get rid of it. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing pretty well. Good to see you, Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, today we'll be talking about my live stream last night. If you weren't there for that, I mean, I would say you can tune in now, but then you would have to go away from here. And you know, rather just have y'all stay here. But yeah, they're pretty good. Spam bots are cool. Yeah. But yeah, well, I guess let's get to it. I prepared a thing. And we're just gonna kind of like look through the pieces and talk about them. So here's our first one. Triumph of the Demon Gods. It's it's quite a piece. And hopefully my audio is fine. I have no clue. But yeah, Triumph of the Demon Gods. It's quite fun. Very super aggressive. Has a really wide range. And yeah, awesome. Good to hear that volume is coming through fine. Cool. But yeah, so Triumph of the Demon Gods. It starts off really, really aggressive with this barbaric at quarter note equals 40. So it's really slow, really aggressive because we have a piano here and mezzo piano here. And yeah, I put copyrights because I don't own the copyrights of this. I didn't compose this. My name's not John Stevens. I just played it. But yeah. It's really aggressive. Lots of accents everywhere. Start at this forte, go to a fortissimo, blah blah blah. Really loud. But it's a lot of fun. I will say one of the biggest tips I have for anyone who wants to work on this, is just make sure you take it slow. Maybe try to switch up the octaves if you're not, especially like down here, we get a little higher, like pretty much at the top of the staff. So just take some time to kind of put it I would take it down an octave. That's what I did a lot, is just take it down an octave. And this tempo, I don't know, I definitely was not close to this. Hold on, where's my phone's right there. I don't think I went quite this slow. Let's see, where's my metronome? So like 144 is about right here. Dee da dee da da dee. Switched out the 3/4. So it'd be more like this. Dee da dee da da dee da 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 dee da 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 da. I guess I wasn't too far off now that I think about it. Let me do this. Yeah, I guess now I think about it, I wasn't super far off. But yeah, biggest thing, just take this down an octave. Isolate the sections, like just work on these two measures to like maybe here, and then here to like here-ish maybe. I don't know. But yeah. And then we of course have this fun pedal C to pedal B. uh, at piano basically. Guess you could theoretically bring up the volume or dynamic there if you wanted to, but yeah, piano, I guess. Yeah, and then we have more. This part was probably these two measures. Where's my thing? Like right here. Oof, real rough. uh, we have this seventh followed by an octave down and up, and then go to a C natural right after this, and then two octaves like this. Yeah, once this part for me at least isn't too bad, but it's just like these two measures. It's like da dee dee da dee dee da da dee da dee da 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 da. Man, I spent so much time on these two measures especially. But it happens. But yeah. And then this part is this part is really gets really crazy. But before we get to that, we have all this stuff. Honestly, I feel like with this piece, some of this subdivision, like you don't have to be exactly precise with this. If you're like completely precise, that's fine. But it's more of just kind of bum, which I guess is about the tempo. But yeah, if it's especially in these like slower sections, 48, 60, 72, or 52, I can't read. um, you know, they're not gonna be. It's okay if there's like a little bit of not exactly going with the complete exact tempo, but I don't know. And then this part, because one of the things for me at least, I forget which recording it is that I more referenced or more thought of, because I didn't really listen to a recording too much in preparing for this. I listened to it a lot when I first prepared it, which was in first worked on it, I mean, which was probably like 2012 or 2011, spring of either of those years. I forget which one it was. I started to work on it, and then in the middle of my process of working on it, I got my wisdom teeth taken out, which is not a good idea at all. To get your wisdom teeth taken out in the middle of working on a piece when you're a brass player, especially one with as many challenges as this. You know, we got this high range. We're like trilling this B here, an F sharp here. And then we're holding these like high E's, which are, oh my God. But overall, it's, yeah. So, moral of the story, don't wait till after you've done a recital or concert to get your wisdom teeth taken out. Because otherwise, you're going to have to switch to something else, probably. But yeah, we have this march, which I probably should use a metronome more with this whole piece in general. When I was preparing this recently, in the last month or two. But this part is kind of cool. It's really cool just because we have this march, and then it builds a little bit because we have this starts off like dum, da, ba-da-dum, ba. And then we have this in between the eighth notes and the quarter note at the end. Ba-da-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I think I showed this to one of my friends a long time ago. I think when I was working on the first time, and they mentioned something about like this part and the part above it with the trills and these really low notes, these really low sorts forte for I hate that word so much. Sorts double sortondos. Uh or it's really soft here and then bomb. Bomb. You've made a good interesting thought about it. It's like it kind of sounds like there's like two people playing in this part. Which I think is kind of what it's emulating. And then the same thing here. Because like we could just isolate those two and like do bum 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 or do the dee da da dee da da. And I bet you could probably like layer this if you really wanted to. Like keep this have a like if you were to use something like this, you could build it and then you could keep this going and just have like something like this maybe on top of it. But since this is a solo piece, that it's kind of hard to layer it like that. Unless you have a looper pedal. But yeah. And the biggest thing I would say with this piece is just watching the dynamics, because there's a lot of dynamic changes. Forte, we've already talked about it a bit, but yeah, just watching those, making sure you're accurate, and then also being really athletic with your breaths, like making sure, because I know when I practiced this, I don't think I did it yesterday, but when I practiced, there was quite a few times where I would like breathe somewhere in here, but you really don't want to do that. You want to try to keep this as forward as you can, so like breathe more like here. Or if you wanted to, I guess you could probably breathe right there. That'd probably be okay. But yeah, so it's like places like these and like here. I know one of the things I wanted to do with this part was to keep going through from this breath mark to that breath mark, which was really challenging. But this I will say this decrescendo to the piano kind of helps. So you can kind of fade away and kind of like lose a little bit of the last note at the very end here. And then kind of the same thing with this trill. Yeah, where it makes it sound like a trill that's like slowing down as you go. But of course it's has three trios of triplets and then several more groupings of eighth notes with two final quarter note ones. And of course then we just have a repetition of the whole beginning part, except with there's probably, I mean, if we compared it, we could probably see a couple more differences. But of course the two main differences we have, or I guess there's three. So we have it's more barbaric here, because the original one's barbaric. So here we're supposed to be really aggressive, and then at the end we have this al niente decrescendo, which basically just means decrescendo to nothing, is what al niente means. It's just nothing. And of course we have these breath marks right here and here. In the beginning we didn't have any sort of breath marks, although I think I did take a breath mark here in the opening part. Yeah, I definitely breathe like right there, which probably shouldn't. But I think it's okay in the context of this piece, and especially it being a solo piece, it's not going to matter too much with an overall tempo scheme if you take a breath here and add like a second or two, because there's no one else to wait on, right? Yeah. But yeah, and it's just kind of I know one of the things I thought about with this, it kind of like this like minimoso irrubato to like the end here. kind of like gives a sense of like, oh, the evil's gone. But then of course it's like, nope, we're starting over again and we're just doing the opening section. So it's a pretty cool little thing there. It's just like evil, yeah, lots of evil, and then it's like, okay, it's done. No, just kidding. We're here forever and ever. Kind of a funny little thing or interesting thing. I don't know. You could probably interpret it differently than that, but that was kind of the interpretation that I came up with. But anyways, I think that's most of what I have to say for this. Um yeah. It's yeah. Yeah, pretty much. The evil just never goes away. Um but is it Oh, okay. Sorry. I was looking at my thing. Just seeing how long it would take the message to show up on the whatchamacallit. Nah, nah, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. I was just kind of curious. Cuz you said it in like 20 more seconds. I saw the chat about it, and then 20 seconds went by and it popped up on the like chat screen. So that's why I was kind of silent there and like going like what's going on? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this one. Unless anyone has any questions or anything. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can leave a. You should be able to leave a comment if you have a question about this. Um, but yeah. Biggest things, take things down an octave because we have high parts. um, and especially with like this, or just one last thing, like we have like, and I kind of talked about this with this slow march section. How we have like these two different lines. We have this bum, 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 and this dee da, da, dee da, da. So these two different lines, and we kind of have that here too. Dee, dee da 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 da. And then we have this descending line below it too at the same time, just da da da. And I don't know where that goes. Maybe these two voices just come together here. I don't know. There's probably honestly some good theory stuff you could get if you really like analyze this. Um I'm not going to go that deep into this piece today, but I might look into that, just like analyzing it a bit. That might be interesting. Cuz this is in terms of atonal, like the atonal style, I think this is definitely like a free atonal piece as opposed to like cuz like, and if you're not aware of how atonal music works, we have there's basically, or there's probably more categories, but you can kind of group atonal music into free atonal, which is kind of just like lack of key. You can go basically wherever within reason, and we have like these subclasses like 013, 015, or 023, 012, etc., etc. But then there's the other big main grouping of atonal music is 12 tone, which is more based around like there's 12 notes in the scale. So you have like A, like C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, blah 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 until you get through all the notes. I don't know if that's 12. Maybe that's 12. Actually, that is. Wow. Okay. I wasn't really counting. Guess I'm just used to putting 12 lines on a circle. But it's basically what 12 tone means is like we take these numbers, like it's like we have like 0 through 10 and 11. And so we would like make a line of like, actually, is there text function? Text highlight. Text. So we just do like we can even do like something as basic as, oh, how do you work this? I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know how the text function works on this thing, on this software. We're just going to add like a text box to the scene. Where's the text? Text? Is this how you do it? Okay. Aha. Oh, no, I'm not going to put that over there. So you put like 0. Oh gosh, that's really big. Oh, I'm sorry. Select color. Let's go blue. Or red? Red. Font size. I'll just make this really small. There we go. So like we have our base. So with 12 tone, we would use each of the notes numbers before we repeat. So some example of this would be like 0, 9, 5, 7, 8, 4, 6, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And then 10, 11. And that's a tone row. And then after we go through all those notes, we would like repeat or do some variation. Like maybe like, how does this work? Okay, that's fine. Like we would, is there a way to rotate this? Oh crap. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, here's the rotation thing, maybe? Okay, yeah. So we'd like do it like this. So we read, or backwards, read it from there. Or we could just like rearrange the whole things in another way. But yeah, that's a little small little mini theory thing about atonal stuff. Now let's just get rid of that because we don't need that. Yep. Okay. But yeah. So it doesn't seem like that because we have like, I mean, just going back to the slow march, we of course have a C, F, and then another C and an F. In 12 tone music, you wouldn't traditionally like repeat notes, so that's why I think this isn't more atonal. So we have the repetition of the same thing here, and then like maybe parts of this are, but I don't know. I would have to do a deeper like analysis of it. But yeah, atonal music is fun. It's very Halloweeny, especially this piece. Not all is, but seemingly a lot of atonal type music is. But anyways, let's move on to Convent Window. Which of the 4 pieces I did was probably the easiest. Not to say that this is an easy piece in any right, but it's a lot easier to put together than especially this piece with and it's just really calm. It's really nice. I honestly like when I was practicing for the last month, I would like work on Triumph a bit, and then I would go like and just use Convent Windows kind of like to cool off, because as you saw and heard, it goes high in a lot of places. Like I spent a lot of time on like this part. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This part is really high, and this part, of course, we're going up, up, and up. And then we have these, like, where are they? Oh yeah, here's a sustained E at piano. Oh, that's a fun one. But anyways, yeah, it's a really nice piece. Um, and it's not, honestly, this could be played by, like, because I would very hesitate really strongly before giving anything like this to a high schooler. But like this piece, I would definitely be like, if I was teaching a pretty good high schooler, I would be like, yeah, here you go, try this out. I mean, of course, it has a few, like, high range isn't bad. I think this A right here is the highest note. And then the lowest note is at the end. We have this optional 8VB with this pedal C and B here, which can be kind of, I know for me, there sometimes getting a pedal C even to speak doesn't always happen, especially if I don't shave my mustache. Which sounds weird, but I promise it does. At least to me, I notice it makes a difference. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, this one's it's really nice. It's really calming to play. And we have this, because we start in this whole thing where we're mostly in the staff. We get, like, we don't really get below the staff until the fourth line right here with this D. And it doesn't get, like, super low until the next line. And then, of course, that whole section where, like, low and playing stuff. Do 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 dee do 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 dee do 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 dee do do dee do 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 dee do do. Yeah. So we got a bunch of stuff. Just the biggest thing, like I wrote here, is just subdividing. Because I mean, like I said with the other one, since this is solo, there's not really other people to be like, oh, you missed a thing or you're late. So you can take time, but especially in something like this, I would say I'd recommend more just to keep moving as much as you can. Just think, dun 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 dee dun 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 dee dun 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 dun. Da 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 dee da 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 dee da da. Yeah, I would just take a breath here, like on the and of 4. And then here, I think I took a breath here, but if you can move through, but if not, it's okay to take a breath here for sure. And then here, I definitely took a breath. I know that for sure. And then there's a lot of these, like, because I think the biggest challenge with this, especially in this section where we're, like, below the staff entirely and kind of in a really pretty low partial, is just keeping air moving. Because, like, here, you probably should try to move all the way to there. Like, move through there, and not take a breath here. But if you have to take a breath here, that's fine. Because it's like, I think I remember some, like, with I don't have this, so I can't show this. Or I do have it, but I don't have it on my computer, so I can't show you. But in the Snedeker low etudes, they're, like, really low. And I remember seeing in an interview with the composer of those, and he was like, yeah, just take breaths whenever. Because it was like, it's all really low, and low notes, those of you who play tuba, low notes are really, they take a lot of air. So it's like it's not as bad as having to be like, breathe here, and then breathe here before this note. No, but it still sometimes it gets pretty bad. But yeah, the biggest, I mean, just planning out where you want to breathe is just one of the biggest things with this. And for this, I said in the last one, like, taking it down an octave, but this one I would say, especially in places like this, taking it up an octave. I mean, if you can take an octave lower than this, sure, practice it, but I know I couldn't do it. Pedal G, ooh, and a pedal D, no, I can't even. I think I've touched this G before, pedal G, but D, I don't. That's like a pipe dream. It's like what, like 10 spaces below the staff or something? I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so it's just the biggest thing with this is maintaining a steady flow of air and taking breaths where you can. Like these quarter notes, Jonah Rouse Hersey has like really, it's not like this is probably the longest set of 16ths, I think. Oh, except for this one. Yeah, so like the 16th, we don't have like a measure full of 16th notes this low, because that especially would be kind of a nightmare. Um, it's definitely possible, but really tricky to play a full measure of 16th notes this low. It takes a lot of air. But of course, we have plenty of, like I said, we have plenty of places to breathe. I think even like getting through to here is pretty doable. I think that's what I did. Although I can't remember if I might have breathed somewhere around here. I don't know. I haven't been as good about putting in all of my breaths. Like you see a couple here, because all these markings here are stuff I wrote. I don't really write a whole ton of markings, because a lot of my markings that I put here were from the many times when I recorded and listened back. I did a lot of that because especially for the last two pieces, although I probably didn't do enough listen recording and for the last two pieces, but it's fine. I think it turned out fine. But yeah, and just for this pedal D, just making sure these pedal Ds that appear a lot. So you have it here, here. It's at the end. Just making sure it's clear, and I would say try to play with a really open full sound here, and try to make it as calm as you can. I know for some people that seems like a very very hard thing. A lot of tubas you'll hear will just play stuff like super loud, and their pedals will just always no matter what, even if it's supposed to be lyrical, will just be like bop, something like that. But I think it's really important to work to try to get a really nice solid pedal, because I mean, I know the one person who's been commenting so far today is not a tuba player, but I assume he would rather hear tuba play like a pedal like really calmly than someone blasting out a pedal. So it's just important to think about that. Just thinking about people who don't play the tuba usually don't, or play brass instruments in general, usually don't want to hear like really loud stuff. So just keep that in mind when you're working on your pedals and such. Yeah, and just I would say almost think about like playing this with a uh like a do kind of vowel, like da 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 do 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 da 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 da. Yeah, I mean fair, but I just mean as like a default, like for everything, no matter what. That's what I mean about playing loud. Like if someone's playing like something more lyrical and it's like slightly softer, and they just have a random like pedal note that just blasts through everything, probably shouldn't do that. uh just because, does that really fit the atmosphere of the piece if you like you're like da 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 da, or like here da 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 dee 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 da da dee dee da ba ba da da. It doesn't really fit. um it's a completely different style change, which in certain styles of music works great. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing I was trying to get at with that, is I've heard more tuba players play just loud for the sake of getting the notes out rather than just playing to fit the style of the piece. But anyways, yeah, and the retard doesn't have to be very much. I didn't really do much with the retard in this first measure, especially. Like, I tried to do a little bit here, but it would either be like too small or too much. I wasn't able to find like exactly the right amount for here. But here you can do it a little bit easier, except that playing slightly slower with these octave lower notes, starting from like here and going lower, going there, 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 um, can be kind of tricky to keep that going, especially if you don't have these. And if you don't have these two pedals here, then you don't like it says optional. So if you can't play every single one of these notes down an octave super comfortably to make each note come out and be the same like general dynamic, then you probably should just kind of ignore this for a bit until you can actually do it. Um, but yeah, and yeah, there's not too much else to say that with this one. And just the other thing that I personally struggled with was like trying to differentiate between the dynamics, especially in this section, because we have like this mezzo piano here, then we have a forte here, and mezzo forte, and back to forte. So it's like we have to go really soft here, then loud, then like slightly softer, but not as soft as up here, and then back up to this loud dynamic here. So that can be really tricky um, to get out. But yeah, what did I say? Oh, slightly short, because I didn't want this to be like, and like hold over for a long time, because I think I did that in one recording I did of it. But yeah, I think that's the main thing with the two pieces I played that I didn't make myself. And once again, if you have a question about either of these, or if you have questions after the fact, you're watching the VOD or whatever, feel free to leave a comment. I'll try to get back to you if you leave it after the live stream, but yeah. Yeah. So let's switch back to the full cam mode for a second. Okay. Sorry, getting used to all this stuff. But and then this. I need to get my iPad out. But yeah. So I'll probably go back to that cam in just a second, but I forgot to pull up the why did I do that? Oh well, I'll do this. Open a new window. Alright. But I forgot to pull out the music I made for the looped piece I did. So now let's get to the two pieces that I made. So the first of which, like I said in the recital, the working title I'm going with is Towards the Future. I was honestly kind of like, because my whole overall like, there it is. Sorry, I'm trying to look for this file, compositions, loop, future. Yeah, okay. So my main thought with this program was, like I said, to like kind of put my thoughts out. Because like I said in the recital, it's been kind of a rough couple years. We have COVID. Which is still kind of going on, but it's mostly gone. which is great. Close all documents, yeah. Um, but yeah, we have COVID, lots of other stuff. Recently this year has been the war in Ukraine, which has been, it just really sucks for Ukrainian people. And my computer's lagging out a lot, which is not good. Well, hopefully this will be well, I guess next week. Hopefully after next week it'll be one of the last times I'll have lagging problems. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah, that's right. I wanted to put that in the background. Okay. But yeah, so one of the things that I wanted to do with this program was to kind of try to convey my feelings with music. And of course, the first piece being really rough and aggressive because I've been kind of, I don't know, I've felt the frustration, a lot of frustrations especially over the last year. Not necessarily because of any one person, but I mean, especially the biggest thing that got me really frustrated was the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and because I live in America, so yeah, there's that. But that when I heard about that, that really frustrated me. Not because I have those parts. I'm any sort of like female, assigned female at birth. I'm male, been male my whole life, and probably won't change. But it just made me really frustrated that that the people who that does matter for don't really have a choice in whether or not, you know, they can choose to abort if they really want to. So that really frustrated me. And then another, especially with the first piece, I went to the International Women's Brass Conference earlier this year. It was in like May, yeah, end of May. And one recital went to of Jasmine Pigot. I apologize if I mispronounced your last name. But one of her pieces really reminded me of Triumph of the Demon Gods and made me really want to play it. So that's kind of another reason why I chose to play it. But mostly just because I was frustrated. I know there's a lot of people out there who are frustrated, like people in Ukraine. And also I think it's been, well, it's probably been for a while, but I know I've heard about it more recently is people in Iran also have they have stuff going on. And just to say, I have not all of my stuff is going to be this serious. It's just been getting to me a little bit. So I just wanted to express some of that. So yeah, that was the purpose with the first piece, was express my frustrations and frustrations of people around the world. And then the reflection, of course, just thinking about what can we do? What can I do to better myself and move forward and just be the best I can be and also help out other people. And then, of course, my natural thought about after that was that, well, we have to think about the future, which, like I said in the recital, my vision of the future is that there's like a really, really bright, amazing future somewhere out there. I have no clue. I have no clue where it is, to be honest. So that was a thought I had, but also I will say these last two pieces were both inspired by Cyberpunk, the game Cyberpunk 2077, because they recently said that there's a contest where you can enter a piece, or not a piece, but a song into their to have it like in their game for the next expansion. And I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. So my first thought was towards the future. With this bass line, I thought about, because they have this video, you're supposed to like think about what kind of song would go after it, I guess. So towards the future was kind of what came to mind first. Uh, uh, with this really heavy bass line, this I guess I'll play the bass line. Does that sound okay? Not too loud? Is that okay volume? I don't know. I can't, like I've said before, I can't really hear stuff, so I don't know if it's clipping or not. I hope it's not. Actually, no, I can check. I forget I had an audio mixer. Oh yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so we had this bass line. This came to my mind. And and it sounded really cool. I thought it sounded really cool. Anyways. So I started making this loop piece because of that. Um yeah, so we had that main loop, and then the second loop is just kind of a simple little, well, it's probably not simple. Actually, let me show. I guess while I'm doing this, I should show. It would help if I showed the music, because I did actually write some music for this. Transition. There we go. It gets kind of, my only thing with this is it gets kind of convoluted. I didn't know what else to write but this paragraph at the end. uh, but yeah, so we have this bass line, and then on top of it we have this. Um, but yeah, so those are like the two main like parts in Towards the Future. And then of course later we have these two more loops towards the end. Um, one's just really low. Actually, I think I reversed these in my what I did yesterday. I played this one first and then this one. So I just and then we just have octave higher, except instead of going to up, we're going down. I just wanted to do that just to add a little bit of different motion. And and then you might have been in there was a moment where like I was playing like really high, and you might have been like, and it just kept on looping what I was playing. And you might have been in the moment, you might have like, wait, what's happening? But I have that was part of my plan was to have it like this like section where I just play high random notes, um, and just loop it, overdub it, and it's just like this chaos kind of feeling for a second. Because the whole reason I did that, because I accidentally did that once when I was recording or testing this piece out. Uh, so I was like, that sounds kind of cool. That's going in the whole thing. Oh, and the other thing, which isn't on here because not every pedal has it. Um, and the pedal I have in particular does, is that I have this whole like hi hat just going down, da 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 da, and just to show off, because I haven't really, I wanted to last night at the recital, but like I said at the recital, I had like my setup was really messy, and it was set up in a way where I couldn't really pick up my looper. But here's my looper. It's pretty sick. It's Boss RC30 loop station. It's super sick. Um, it has two pedals, so it's like one. This one's pretty much just like record, play, and it also. Oh, and you can also turn on the. Well, I'll get to that in a second. And pause and play over here, and then on this side, it has. It's just stop, which is kind of cool. And if you hold it for a couple seconds, and then the other thing that's cool is it has two separate tracks. So like I can record something on one track and then record something else on the other track, which is what I did last night. Oh, excuse me. I had like the bass line over here, and then I had the da 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 on the other loop. Um, yeah, so it has a lot of cool stuff, and then it has the one thing that I was saying that not every pedal has is it has like a rhythm thing. So like it has different rhythms. I'll show those off in just a couple of minutes actually. Um, it has like several different rhythms, like pre-programmed like percussion loops that play on top of whatever you're playing, which is really cool and really fun to play with. And then I think that's the main stuff. Oh, and I didn't use it at all last night, but it has effects. So you can like put like you can make it there are different effects, which I'll go through. Like I said, I'll go through this in kind of a minute or two. I'll have to reset up stuff just for a second. I kind of need to take a water break pretty soon anyway because my throat is getting kind of dry and I need a water. I need to actually get a water bottle, but all I have right now is just this cup. So just a friendly. This is just a friendly reminder to drink water. But I'll probably go and refill it in a second. But yeah, so that's my loop station. It's fun. I like it a lot. Oh gosh. Um, but yeah, but yeah. So this is what came out of my first thought with Cyberpunk, and then I don't have any music for it. I don't think there will be music for it. But my other piece, which is called Yearning, um, it was completely improvised. Um, but it's really cool. I'm gonna play the background track just because I think it's a really cool song. In the background, I had a lot of fun working putting it together. I can go into this more later. Sorry, but the whole background track was made with this synthesizer, um, the Mini Freak or Micro Freak. Sorry, Mini Freak is the new one that they just came out with. They just came out with an upgrade to this one called the Mini Freak. But it's a super fun synthesizer. Has a lot of different settings, but I'll show this off in a little bit too. Well, actually, it might be easier for me to start with this one. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom and refill water and reconfigure my setup a little bit break. Um and I'll be back. So let me oh god, okay. Uh wait. Oh, right, it's not on that. Okay. I'm sorry. Ooh, yeah, so I'm gonna take a quick break. Where's my be right back? Okay. But I'll be right back. Um Go get some water, use the bathroom if you need to. Um yeah, I'll be right back. All right, and I'm back. Hello, hello. So, like I said, we're gonna do some. Well, I'm gonna show you some of these features of these devices I have. We're gonna start with the loop station, just because that's the, in terms of how my recital went, um, the the loop piece was third. Yeah, so we'll talk about that and just demo the loop station a little bit. So I'm just gonna loop. First of all, just start by looping the main bass line, the main two like lines, and then we'll kind of do demonstrations afterwards. But yeah, okay. Oh right, I've got to put this in. Ooh, hold on, I actually have to mute for just 1 sec. Unmute. Okay, so just a general thing about, or actually, let me do a quick mic check with this. Ooh, that's going really loud. Okay. Sorry. That's off. Not there? Yeah, that seems like it's good. Okay. So, let's do this. This will be a little bit tricky for me because I'm doing this. Usually I control the pedal with my feet, but I'm just leaving the pedal on the table here on my desk. So, let's see how this goes. Oh, I didn't do it. I'm sorry. Pedals are tricky. Just a little bit. I'm gonna switch to the other track and record the other loop. Oh. Let's record this other loop. Or actually, and this is part of the reason why I put on the hi-hat, just so I could kind of hear like a more steady rhythm than me playing the low notes. But it also sounds pretty cool. I think it does, at least. With the hi-hat, at least. I mean, yeah. But let's record this. The second line. Yeah, that sounds fine. I'm just gonna stop that track. But just to demonstrate some of like the different sounds that I could do, the effects that they have. Here's the first one. It's just bend down, so it'll like make everything go down lower, which probably isn't a good idea if you're playing a tuba. Also, I apologize for the random audio stuff, the fuzzes. I don't know. It's been happening for a long time, and I have no clue how to get rid of it. But here's with the bend down effect. It's really not great for tuba. So just a pro tip, if you get the RC30, don't use the bend down effect unless you're playing like really high. Actually, let me see how it sounds with the you can hear it a little bit more, but it's still it's not really there. But anyways, let's move to the next one, which this one is one of my favorites. Because this one especially gives me more cyberpunky vibes. Kind of. I especially like the way the bass line sounds with this. And the next one is Sweep Filter, which kind of just, if you're not very familiar with electronic type music, it's like the effect where it's like, where like right before the bass drops, where it like opens up. That's kind of what the Sweep Filter does. It's like opens and closes a filter. I don't know. I can't really hear too much of a difference, but I have listened to it and heard it does like some, kind of like, but. And then next one, I like this one a lot. This is tempo delay, just like a delay. Just adds like an echo. Yeah, it's not doing it much for me on this track, but there's certainly ways you could utilize it. And the last one is just lo-fi, which kind of just adds like a grainy kind of and compresses everything. It's pretty cool. And then of course just what it sounds like without those effects. Now let's talk about some of these other rhythms or drum loops that they have. Yeah. So of course we have hi-hat. Pretty basic, but it's still, I mean, at least for me personally, it does a lot. I like it a lot. It's really cool because like traditionally with, or at least from what I've seen with looping stuff with tubas, there's a lot of like that's a bass drum, and then you can do more of like a snare, hi-hat, cymbal type thing, like by hitting the bell or something like that. Those are like the two like main percussion sounds for a tuba. I'm also dampening it a little bit with my arm, I think. But so it's cool that to have like a built-in like drum kit basically. But anyways, next one. Just adds a bass drum. It's a bit much for me. Also, I will say another cool thing about this pedal is how it's just like able to like catch the rhythm what you record. I like that a lot. I mean, maybe it's just like counting the seconds in between when you start and stop the loop, and it's like just putting like an evenly spaced beat in between. But actually, it's kind of growing on me. But anyways, moving on. Got a snare drum. Oh, wow, the bass drum's doing a lot more now. Still got the same like hi-hat pattern going, but now the bass drum's like kicking it. Yeah. Yeah, it matches the tempo and rhythm really well. I think it's more of it just calculates in between like when you start and stop. But yeah, and then we got this one, which I feel like this one. This isn't like the appropriate kind of thing. This is more like a chill, like salsa kind of thing, right? Sort of. I don't know. It's more of a relaxing kind of beat. And we got a little bit more hi-hat. Pretty cool. Got some swing. Yeah. Got a little bit of a different bass drum. Kind of works. And we got another one that's kind of more bossa nova-y. We got bongos. Yeah. And that's it. Now we're back to just the hi-hat. So it's a lot of really cool options. I would suggest if you, because I got this one used because this one actually isn't one that they're in their like current line of pedals. But I liked it because I wanted to choose this one because I had the 2 tracks primarily. Because my previous looper, which I'll just clear out, it's the Ditto looper, really basic. Literally all it does is you record it with this, and then you can adjust the volume here. It's super basic, but it does the job, and it's affordable. It's like, I think it's like less than $100, like maybe even 80 something, high 80s, 90s, is how much this one is. So for being able to loop, I think that's a great deal, and all it has is just input and output. And I think you can also connect it to a computer through that. I don't know if you can see this. I don't have a center light, but yeah, so I'm gonna stop this. There we go. Okay, sorry. But yeah, so that's what I had before, but recently when I was trying to get back more into doing looping stuff, and I tried to use this one, it actually didn't work for some reason. Don't know why. Electronics are really finicky. But yeah, it just stopped working. So I was like, okay, well, I wanted to get a better looper anyways. So I settled with the RC30, which is it's great. I mean, there's definitely ones that are better. I think like the RC300 has like 4 tracks or something like that. But it's like twice as expensive as the RC30. So I think the RC30 is like, it was like 250 mid. It was like mid to late 200s. Is how much it was, which is kind of pricey, but also for loopers, it's not too bad. I don't know, especially compared to like the 300, and I think they have a 500 one, which is like even more expensive. I don't think loopers, although loopers, I don't think loopers get over 1,000, but they can get really expensive the more tracks it has. But yeah, so that's about loopers. Yeah, and the biggest thing with looping for, I think, any instrument, but especially I've noticed it with like my instrument, is like if you play like around where the loops are, it usually doesn't sound as good. Like I'll just play a little bit over this. Just kind of get around where these loops are. So like you might be able to notice like some of the weirdness with that when I was like around where the loop was going, which is kind of one of the challenges with looping, is that it's better to stay above it, and I think below it is fine because like down here might sound okay. I don't know. But definitely if you're like right around it, like, because it's around a B flat, like you saw a little bit ago, it's around a B flat and a G flat. So if I play right in between them, probably doesn't sound too great to y'all. To y'all listening. So just be aware of that when if you're doing this yourself, is just be aware of like trying to stay away, like I would say seconds and thirds, but it's okay to go like a little bit in. Just make sure you're not like going like something like playing around it like and especially try to avoid minor seconds, half steps. But it could be a cool effect. Just be aware that if you're playing a minor second away the whole time, it might not be as cool of an effect as you think it is. But yeah, I think that's most of what I wanted to say with this. Oh yeah, I just wanted to because like the thing with looping is that you can overdub stuff, so I can just like press record and it'll just keep on recording, and I can just be like and now we have a huge cluster going on. Actually, that one doesn't sound too terrible. Just sounds kind of chaotic. But the cool thing with a lot of loopers is they usually have like an undo feature, so you can just be like, "Go away," assuming you don't like try to record something afterwards. So like now, and I at least I think it like kind of adds like a little cool effect. It's like Oh my god, what's happening? Then it's like, oh, it's so quiet. It's really nice. So it adds like a really, I think at least, it adds like a really nice like drop off to your music. But yeah, that's, yeah. Yeah. But I think that's most of what I had wanted to talk about with that. Let's stop this. Okay. Now, let's move on and talk about the last piece because it's super cool. I'm just going to mute my stuff so I can rearrange the audio stuff. And my hand kind of fell asleep resting there. We should be good. Okay. My hand fell asleep and it hurts a lot. um. Oh gosh, I was on the cable. Okay. Yeah. So the last piece, yearning. Super fun. Let's just listen to the background. I like the background track a lot. Came out really nice. I think, at least. Wait, is this not playing? Hold on. Is the background not playing? No, it's there. Hmm. Should be playing. Because I know I was I was playing on the instrument that I showed it off when I mentioned it earlier, but the instrument that I played this on, which is the Micro Freak. But is this not playing? Yeah, those audio lows aren't showing up. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Well, let's try this again. Do that. Media player. Okay. Ah, it's playing now. Hooray. Okay, well let's try this again. Now let's listen to the background track, and I'm gonna I didn't mention the last time because I just thought of it on the spot, but I'm gonna play over it on the thing. Yeah. Yeah. But that's yearning. It's a work in progress. Like I said at the end after I played it yesterday, it's a work in progress because there's more I want to do with it. I think this is more the piece that I want to settle for and submit for the Cyberpunk contest. I don't know. I don't know if it'll fit the scheme, the like theme of the contest, but I like. I don't know. I really like it. And it was it was a really recent addition. So I literally first made my first draft like Saturday night, this past Saturday night, like 6 days ago. It was a really late night and I couldn't go to sleep. And I was just playing around on my keyboard over here. Well, actually, I think I was playing around on the Microfique, which might have been hooked up to this keyboard. There's a weird thing. I would say the negative, I don't mind it, but I know a lot of people have spoke out about it. But the I would say the biggest negative about the Microfique is that the keys are really weird, and then that they have like circuitry like patterns on them. Here, I have a picture of it that I used for my Patreon. Uh, my Patreon banner, just to be like, yo, this is something that I'm gonna use to make music with. Rather than me moving my camera over to the side. and exposing all my messiness. But yeah, here's the, let me switch. So, where's the camera with photos? There we go. Okay. Yeah, so here's the Microfreak. It's super cool. As you can see it here very clearly. The keys are kind of a little bit weird. But it's like all this, it looks like this because it's like pressure sensitive. So like if you put your finger all the way across this part or just like touch like this part, it does different things, which you can sequence up here with the pressure thing on the matrix here, which is cool. It does cool stuff. Like I said, I like it. But even as I like it, it's harder to play accurately on these as opposed to like a keyboard like this, which is probably my biggest and only gripe about that device. Otherwise, I love it. It's great. It sounds rad as hell. That's literally, and that's like just like the first pre-made, like this, the main sound of that, the chords is just like the first sequence. I was just playing around on it, and the chord here is just like it's a C E F is the first chord. Oh, let me put that down an octave or two. I hope that's not too loud. That's the main chord that's going. And then the second chord is just a B, D, E. So we have like these, we have a, what is this, a 0, 0, 4, 5 to a 0, 3, 5 chord. If we're using numbers to kind of, because I could say this is like the first third from a C chord and a second. But it's probably easy for me to say 4, 0, 4, 0, 4, 5. Yeah, 0, 4, 5. So that's kind of like what you would, the only way I can think of to really quantify it. It's a 0, 4, 5 chord. To a 0, 3, 5 chord. And then later we see the full triads, the major, the C major triad, and the B diminished triad, although much less of the B diminished triad. So it goes like this is just the pattern. I hope that's not super loud over the speaker. I have no clue. It sounds much different here. Let's add. Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. I just remembered I made this into a sequence. I think. Okay. I didn't save it. Oh well. But anyways, yeah, so we have this main, just this. How did that make that worse? Oh yeah. True. It did kind of, yeah. What is this, cycling envelope? How did I make that sound like that? Really weird. But that down. And that's basically the main pattern that's going on, and some variations of that. uh, or it's like stuff like that, and yeah, and then like I said, eventually it goes into because they're like, and this one I think represents more of like my whole thought of there's a bright shiny future out there, because at the end we have this like glorious like, or hold on, we actually like see this like major percussion from this. Stuff like that. It kind of, to me at least, sounds really bright. And it also, there's like these little parts where it's like, yeah, and you can, some of that, it's just because, like I said, it's kind of, I like the micro freak, but now that I more play on this live, it's the built-in keyboard's not the greatest. Um, but I had this like little trickling of like dun 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 dee dun 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 dun. So we have like a glimmer of that like bright future, um, which is of course at the end realized when we hear the G major. Yeah, and then I basically just like, oh, and then the other sound is just another. There's a preset because they more recently added like noise generators, so you can like create like, um, yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. Very hopeful. Um, there's a built-in like noise generator thing. Um, and so the bass drum is just like from here. Where is it? It's somewhere, I promise. Oh, was that it? No, that wasn't it. I think it was this one. Yeah, this is the bass drum I used. But with both of these, you might notice that they sound completely different. That's because, and I don't, like I said in, I forgot where I posted it, but in one of my posts I made in either today or yesterday, saying that, oh, and I'll talk about music production a little. You'll hear about music production for someone who's not good at it at all. That's me. Yeah, so this is where I can't explain it. I did just like added some little effects, like I think I just added like reverb. There's like an EQ, you know, and like something else, reverb. Yeah, I said reverb. But it was like with the EQ, they just give you this box and there's like a waveform, and I as a classical musician, uh, I wasn't really trained in that very much. In my classes, so I was just kind of like, okay, I'll just turn this, and it was like, okay, that sounds good, sure. And that's what I did with the EQs for, both the bass drum, and it also has parts because like something I noticed with just without that, like if you just increase the delay, um, in the micropeak, it kind of gives it a little bit more oomph. So like during the um, chorus, um, I increased that delay just to give it like a little bit more oomph, which you might have heard. Um, and this one may or may not be on my Patreon. Um, if this is the one that I submit for the contest, um, with the Cyberpunk contest, um, they have like some stipulations that the song will belong to them, I think, because they have to have the copyrights so it can go in the game. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to like actually post it, like just like the backing track. Um, but I do kind of want to put out the backing track when it's done, just as a thing for people to play with. I would love to hear what other people interpret from my backing track. So it all depends uh, on what happens with it. If that is the piece I choose to select, yeah, basically. Um, so if this is the piece that I choose to select, um, then who knows? But hopefully yes. But we'll see. Um, but yeah, I think that's most of all of my pieces, all the pieces I played, and all about them. Yeah, it was really fun. I had a fun time with it. Um, I know the audio levels were kind of weird. I should have done a lot more testing, but I got distracted with trying to set up the Patreon and the YouTube page. Even though I've kind of had the Patreon not published, I published it yesterday. Um, but I've been had it like in a draft since like a long time ago. Uh, since actually it was probably like early October when I first started working on it, and yeah, just kind of let it sit. I worked on it a little bit, but let it sit because I was really nervous about publishing it. But it's out there now, which is exciting. Um, yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I know from the little bit, I'll probably do a more in-depth listening of it um, sometime. If it's somewhat, well, at least tomorrow, I'll be busy all day. Um, but I'll probably listen back to the whole thing eventually. But from the little bit I've heard, some of the audio levels were, especially for Yearning, I was not really satisfied with how soft the tuba was, and in comparison to the background track, which is whatever. But it's just a work in progress, which I'll get better at the more I do this. But I don't really have anything else. I can't really think of anything else I want to say or do. Um, but yeah, thanks for joining me. I think I'm just gonna end the stream there. But thanks for joining me, and if you're watching this afterwards, thanks for watching too. I guess same. But anyways, uh, I think the next stream will probably be next Thursday. I might be doing a Sunday stream, like in 2 days, but I'm not sure. But definitely check out my Twitter. I'll probably, if I am going to post, I'll post about it. If well, post if I am going live, I'll make a post about it on Twitter. Um, and yeah, but otherwise, my next stream is going to be next Thursday. I think I'm gonna do some finale stuff, and we're gonna edit some music. Probably the one you saw today. That was mine. But yeah, um, thanks, Jonathan. Hope you have a good night too. Yeah, have a good one. Bye. Where's the thing? Bye.